Good morning from Seattle. Good afternoon to the rest of the country off the West Coast. Another so-so night in Seattle last night. A fair amount of protest, even right out my door with police cars and police on bicycles blocking off the street. So a little bit of anxiety and tension now that comes with normal life, and I suspect that's the same for many of you, as we have 40 cities across the country that now are in some stage of having protest that can become unruly. Here last night, leading to tear gas and a little bit on unrest. We're covering legal blogging in 45 chapters. It was the best way to do it, was just to sit down and say, okay, what would people need to know about legal blogging? How could I break this up in snippets so that they could have it? And then how could I take the information and take a video and reduce it to text and put it into a book? So that's what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily saying that people are going to be stopping by and listening to Facebook Live, but there will be a recording that will be up on Facebook. We'll get it up on YouTube, and we'll share it across LinkedIn. We'll eventually get it transcribed sooner than later. Today I'm talking about your blog's relationship to your website. And the things that I'm going to cover are four things. One is the blog being a separate publication apart from your website. It's just a separate publication. Two, why have it a separate publication apart from your website? The use of the blog at the website, so to leverage the use of the blogging by a lawyer, if a small firm, or lawyers at a larger firm. And then be careful to recognize your goal and the advice you're getting vis-a-vis blogging a website or outside a website. The first thing to recognize is it's a separate publication. Let's go back to the early days of blogging or legal blogging, 2003, 2004. When blogging came about, what really made it something was this idea that you could get credibility by publishing, and publishing is an authoritative place. There were websites, no question about it. I mean, I had a website for my law firm in 96 or 97, but now we're coming to the point where citizen journalists or people that have insight and commentary no longer have to go through gatekeepers. They can begin to publish. Maybe before a lawyer maybe had to publish at a journal, get something in a bar publication and whatnot. Well, now you've got a printing press at your disposal that gives you that panache. And so the first thing that happened was, what's the title of my blog? And the blogs were the names of publications. So when it came time to title the blog, what we did was we worked with the firms or with the lawyers and said, okay, what's the topic? And then let's give it a name, as if it was a publication, if it was a magazine, if it was a newspaper, it was an insider, anything to indicate that panache. And that's what it became. And then you certainly had it say it was published by the lawyer or the law firm, but it was a publication. So, think about something, just use analogies so you don't throw common sense out the window here. Imagine if a lawyer came in and said, they're writing a book, and it just got approved by this major publisher, and it's going to be on this niche subject, and it's going to relate to particular type of immigration issues for healthcare institutions. And somebody said, whoa, wait a minute. We don't allow independent publications by our lawyers that could get that type of prestige for the lawyers and that type of notoriety, that type of speaking engagements, that type of potential client interaction, that type of feedback from clients that we really know our stuff. You have to publish that inside of our website. And so get the content and put it in the website. Somebody would say, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Same thing would be if we got the opportunity to publish a publication. If somebody came to a law firm and they said, you have some great lawyers publishing on this or working in this particular field. What we would like to do is give you an exclusive. We would like you to publish a publication on this niche and have your lawyers write the insight and commentary of benefit to people that work in that area, whether it's consumers, small business people, or large corporations and in-house counsel, other lawyers. And your name will be up there. It will say, that's brought to you by the lawyers at such and such, those type of things. Would you say no? I'm sorry, we can't do that. We have to publish the content in our website. And then I think the publisher would kind of look at you and go, really? Why? Well, because that's the philosophy that we have. We do our publishing inside of our website. We don't do our publishing outside our website. Blogs are a publication. Don't lose sight of that for a minute. They're not, a profile of a lawyer. They are a publication. They have a panache. That's what made them so popular. Just because you're thinking, okay, now that I have something popular, I want to put it over here where I want to get more popularity coming, doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. And I'll skip to the last point, be careful with your goal. I mean, is your goal to get more traffic to the website? If it is, put all your blogs in your website, because if I can give you more content, and I don't even care if your lawyers created it, I can get people to create content for you. I mean, they email us many times a day. We'll write articles for you. We'll create content for you. They don't even need to be lawyers. You make that chock full of stuff at your website, you'll get a lot of people coming there. You can hire people to write in your lawyers' names and put it up there. You'll get a lot of traffic. And the idea that all of a sudden, because you're getting more traffic, that somebody there that's looking for IP issues in a particular garment industry or pharmaceutical and has now found this, it is going to jump over and look at what the estate planning lawyers in your firm do is the height of folly. I mean, when was the last time you went to a medical site or a clinic or a hospital and you're going right to what you need for that healthcare provider? And then you go, there's some other stuff in here. I should look and see if I have this situation someday, what they're doing on that. That's the logic that is going on. I've heard it. I have heard people say, if we can get more people to come to our website, they'll bounce around to other things. They don't do it. They don't do it. It'd be like the logic of saying that the New York Times, somebody doesn't read the sports page. But if we get more people to come to the business page, they'll probably read the sports page. Or if they get more people to come to the obituaries, they're more likely to read the business page. It doesn't happen. People go to what's convenient for them. So that type of logic doesn't work. The other thing you have to think about as your goal is, how do you guys get work? Now, I used the internet as a small town trial lawyer in 1996 and 1997. Generated a lot of work through the use of the internet by answering questions on AOL and storing them on the website. And what did I do? I took my telephone number off the website. Why? Because too many people were coming that way. I could get all the work that I wanted by word of mouth because I was out publishing insight and commentary that was of help to people and building my word of mouth and reputation enough that AOL made me the legal community leader while Martin DeHull was paying $4 million for a button on the site that wasn't giving them any more than that and getting them to come to their website. So a blog is a way that you're building influence, you're building relationships, you're building a reputation. Don't take that down because somebody's telling you that you should put a blog in a website. Also, the source of who's telling you to put that blog in the website, ask them, how long have you blogged? Where have you blogged? Have you built your reputation and authority as a result of blogging? Is your company what it is today because of the people in your company that blog? Ask them how much they really know about blogging. They can be great website developers, far, far superior than I am. They can be great search engine optimization people, far, far superior than I am. But I question whether they really know about blogging and what it is. Or were they more of a Johnny-come-lately to blogging where it became something that they needed to get into, they needed to provide their clients because their clients were going to ask that it be done, and here's a free opportunity to give blogs away or at a low cost and stick them inside of a website. You got to be smart. You don't throw common sense out the window on this. The why, in addition to the things I'm talking about, credibility, which I talked about. There's credibility to publishing a book. There's credibility to publishing a magazine. There's huge credibility to publishing a good blog. There is not huge credibility to publishing a blog that is buried inside a firm website. There's not. I don't care what anybody says. You're putting content in there, you're trying to push it out, you may even be paying to get it out the door. But there's not the credibility of an independent publication as if you're writing a law journal in your name on a particular type of niche. Because if you're writing Texas state and local tax law, and it's the only publication in the state of Texas in that issue, you are known. And if that small firm lawyer shared that same content inside his website, he would not have built the reputation and relationships in the book of business that he built as a result. That's just a fact. So you think of it from that standpoint. Citations. Think of it as a book and a magazine. How many law firm websites get cited by the courts? How many law firm websites have been cited by the United States Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals? I don't know. I really don't know. People should send me some where they can say, this is where our law firm website got cited by, one of the justices at the United States Supreme Court. Here's where our law firm website got cited by, one of the circuit courts or district courts. Blogs get cited. They get cited because they're legal authority. They're secondary law. We've gone through a stage where I opened up, American Law Review, and late at night, and I'm getting contra and pro of an argument. And it was wonderful. But that was the annotations. I found that was an annotated source that I found in the code or a case that took me out there. And now I found it. You know what I did? Oftentimes I copied it, at night, and handed it to the judge at 7:30 in the morning before hearing at 9. Said, Judge, I didn't have time to brief this, but this is an authority that I'm going to be using this morning when I'm addressing the court. The judges had no problem in taking that. But that was a secondary authority. Well, today, where is that authority going? It's going with blogs, law professors, lawyers. Our lawyers in the LexBlog community, their blogs are getting cited, just like a law review. Now, try to bring in, this is a page from a law firm website. And in fact, you aren't even going to, people that put their content inside a law firm website probably don't even monitor what's going on in other law firm websites as publications. You've lost all of that. Those lawyers that are participating in the creation of secondary law in the United States are going to build a reputation and they're going to build influence. There's no question about it. And they're going to build it on niche subjects that probably weren't even being covered before. I mean, when was the Chancery Court being covered in Delaware with one lawyer with great expertise monitoring what was going on until Francis Pileggi started to do so years ago, and then had judges come up and introduce other judges to Francis saying, Judge, this is Francis Pileggi. He writes the Delaware litigation blog. That type of panache and authority. Do you think the judge would come up and say, Judge, this is Francis Pileggi. He has some good information inside of his website. I mean, what would that possibly mean? I mean, it would sound silly. And those citations are coming, judicial citations. They're coming from other blogs because blogs are the secondary law that's being created. So they're being cited by other bloggers, lawyers, law professors, law students, you name it. And then those blogs are moving and being cited in different ways than we've ever cited content before. I mean, who knew that citing a blog on the law on a niche point of something called Facebook, developed by Mark Zuckerberg years ago, would be a place that can move insight and commentary that's real, and not be pushing it at Facebook by the publisher just to get eyeballs on it, but by having somebody share it and offer their insight and commentary on the point so the flow of information continues to go on an ongoing basis. That's stunning when you think about it. And that's going on via Twitter, it's going on via LinkedIn. Those type of citations by other people. When you put a blog inside of a website, people are not apt to want to cite law firms' websites. Why? Because they know it's being done to promote the firm's site, no matter what you do. You can say it's here as a body of information for people, but it's being done to promote the site because all around it, it's got the navigation about the firm, the press releases, and all those things. All great and should be there, and websites are very important. but it's not the place for your publishing primary location, because you're going to lose these other things that I'm talking about. You can leverage a blog in different types of ways. Let your mind go. Gee, what if I started to send 3 or 4 questions to in-house counsel that we don't even represent on a particular issue, because we're covering the niche better than anybody in the United States, maybe anybody in the world. You'll get that. You will get responses from those lawyers because they don't have the ability to showcase themselves like you do at your firm. They don't have that bully pulpit to stand on top of to talk to people. You're going to give it to them with a publication. You are not going to give it to them by saying, can we put that on our website? There's going to be all types of issues then. I mean, you're going to have their boss and their people wondering why you're helping out this law firm. Why are you publishing inside their law firm? Now, publishing inside of a widely read magazine, an insider, that type of information, hey, nobody needs to ask anything. So if I were to ping Dennis Garcia, the Assistant General Counsel of Microsoft, and say, hey, Dennis, could you answer a few questions about what you're seeing and trends during the pandemic for cloud hosting, at Microsoft Azure? And I think he would say, that'd be great. And I'd set him the 4 questions and up it would go. Now, I'm not in the business of providing cloud hosting or privacy issues and whatnot, but there's some law firms that are. He'd be happy to do that. Might be happy to write articles for you. A firm in Minneapolis had a blog called Duets. It was relating to IP issues a lot in the garment industry. What they started to do was to come up with a list of the who's who in corporations they would love to represent, that they did not, and ask the in-house counsel if they would like to write for Duets. And I'm hearing this story with 4 other lawyers in the room, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of amazing. Tell me more. And they go, well, we emailed in-house counsel at so-and-so, and I'm thinking, that's a household name in apparel. And, they're in Boston, we're in Minneapolis, and reached out to him, and his response was, boy, would I love to write a blog post for you. Can you wait a week till I get back from vacation? The lawyer, the in-house counsel at this major corporation is saying, can you wait a week till I get back? That's amazing. You're going to write a publication. Now imagine if the firm that did their work even knew that this was going on below the surface because somebody has a blog publication, while their firm has blog content built inside of a website. Imagine the people in Minneapolis saying, we're going to be in Boston, would you have time for lunch? Well, of course they would have time for lunch, and they would get together and talk, and they would talk about issues relating to what this person's doing and what this law firm is doing, and all the while this is going on, while this other law firm doesn't have a clue that it's going on. So you're leveraging your blog by going out and making connections that you could not make in other ways. You also leverage your blog by sharing it and providing insight and commentary out in social as a gift to people, not as a way to push information out to people. It's different. It's totally different when it's a website and a blog. And if you really got down to it and you said, well, where would it say technically that one was advertising and one was providing insight? Go to the bottom of law firm websites, and it will give the advertising disclaimer. This is advertising in our state. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. Blog, that's free speech. That's a lawyer's ability to share insight and commentary on it. They might put the advertising on it, but it's free speech. It's not even commercial speech. Commercial speech is over with the website. Free speech is, I can publish, I can write a book, I can write a magazine, I can write insight and commentary on the law in order to advance the law to help people. As far as the use of the blog at the website, absolutely use the blog at the website. You definitely want to do that, because look at what you've done. You have created a publication. You have a publication. You want to leverage that publication at the website. So at the lawyer's profile, you want to say, They are a contributor to, in the name of the publication. Make that very clear. There's a panache to that. The contributor to. You have the ability to feed the content into the website. You can do that via RSS or through an API. So I think LexBlog long term is going to be a repository for insight and commentary on the law. And people aren't going to screw around leaving publishing inside website software or other software at the firm. They'll put it in a SaaS solution that's run on WordPress. They can put it in. It can be delivered anywhere. It could be syndicated at various places they want to have it syndicated to and that we have reach to. And that one way it could be syndicated is back to the firm's site. So you can call it in any type of way, whether an API or an RSS. It's going to come over to the database that's running the firm. And so why not have the most recent 3 posts from that particular lawyer? That's nice. Maybe you want to have posts segregated by practice area. Boom. Those can show up at the bottom of the practice area. Maybe you want to have the leading commentary come across the front of the website seamlessly. So it's always changing. You've got a lot of flexibility in what you want to do. You may want to create a publication that showcases everything for the firm that's an aggregation of all the posts. So you want to use it. And then over at the blog, you definitely want to use that you're associated with this firm. That's panache, that's credibility. If I'm at Skadden Arps and I'm publishing this blog and it says it's published by Skadden Arps or published by Davis Polk or it's published by Shepard Mullen or it's published by Mayer Brown or it's published by a leading personal injury lawyer on air crash cases, that's a big deal. So you want to have that right there, or food safety, the Marler firm. Marler Clark is the leading food safety firm in the world. Why wouldn't they say, that this publication, Food Safety News, and it's very small as far as supported. There's no big banner up there that says it. But you want to take credit for the publishing of the blog over here. And in many cases, firms like to have their logo where it says published by. And we've talked about the branding already, not to be on an overkill. So the points that I talked about were, 1, it's a separate publication and in relationship to the blog, to the website. It's not inside the website. I covered why. You had credibility issues, you had citations, your ability to leverage it. And maybe one area that I didn't cover was work and money. Those lawyers that blog outside the website built notoriety, built a book of business. It's bringing in many cases, millions of dollars a year. I'm still waiting for the first website development company to say that they have a particular lawyer that's generating millions of dollars a year solely from relationships and reputation built on their blog, because I haven't heard it. So it's dollars. It's growing your book of business substantially, not a little bit or not knowing how. These tend to be life changers if you're doing it right, not just a small bump. The use of the blog at the website, make sure you're just dealing with the CSS. You bring it in as a database and display the content however you want to. It is easy to do. It is not hard to do. It need not be expensive to do. If somebody can't do it, you may not have the right people. But you're just bringing in syndicated content from another place, which is all your publications, and anybody can set up those syndication sources so that it can work for you and have it split up however you want. Be careful on your goal and your advice. That's just something real important. I've got great friends in the legal business that serve law firms, and I disagree vehemently, with their opinions on blogs inside websites, and I think a lot of it comes from they're just not using blogs personally to grow their reputations, and they're not using blogs in a way that they have built authority on behalf of their firm. So if you haven't touched it and you haven't felt it and you haven't tasted it and you haven't seen what blogging can do for someone, then I don't know how you have that credibility. It's just it just isn't there. Happy to work with any firm to get them information as fast as I can, coming from the blogs and RSS feeds to provide robust insight and commentary across their blogs. And if it's about search or whatever, that's just a no-brainer, because you can decide when these feeds are living over here, we want the content to be indexed over here versus indexed at our independent blog publication. That's just a matter of literally flipping switches as far as how you're going to tag the particular page creation. So that's not an issue. So that's it on that topic. Too much. And the Blog for Good campaign continues. We're picking up states. We're picking up steam. States are recognizing the great things that lawyers are providing insight and commentary on as relating to this pandemic. And now you've got relating to the strife going on in this country. There's thousands of posts going up a day that are being aggregated and curated, and now they're being segregated by states. And states are jumping on board to showcase the great work that lawyers are doing to help people and to make sure that that insight and commentary gets in front of the people that actually need it in this country. And that those lawyers, if they don't already have a publication, can have a publication in their hands for free, no cost. Everything that LexBlog provides as far as publication can be provided to those lawyers in participating associations. A little bit of an ad, but not an ad from the standpoint of this is all about care. This is all about doing things that we wanted to do as lawyers. We want to care for other people, and this is our opportunity to do so. So take a look at Blog for Good. We're expanding the information on it on the LexBlog site. Thanks much, and have a good day.